I've talked a little bit about Ophies, a lot about adult Ophaurs, but not that much about the in-between stages. Today we will talk about them all. An Ophaur experiences most of their initial growth during the first 2 years of their lives. Similarly to a certain Cretaceous tyrant king, they fill different ecological roles as they grow. Their growth is noticeably slower than a mammal's, but they still grow rather quickly. When they first gained their independence at 21 days of age, they're about the size of a particularly large rat. Much of their fangs are concealed within their gums, slowly being pushed out as they grow. At this stage, the fangs work best at puncturing the hard exoskeletons of insect prey. They have a much smaller dose of venom at their disposal, so it's better for them to exclusively use it for self-defense rather than hunting. Especially considering that everything that's bigger than them wouldn't mind snacking on such a tiny thing. The signature double stripes Ophaurs have on their next shoulder region are actually vaguely aposematic in nature. It doesn't stick out as much as, say, a skunk or badger's colors, but it is unique enough that most predators looking at them from above will be wary. If the warning fails, they'll either bite or scurry into a tree. Even if they do bite, it is unlikely that they use venom. By 2 months of age, their weight has tripled. This is when they begin to make the switch from invertebrates to small vertebrates, further fueling their growth. Additionally, by this time, Ophies have realized the power of strength in numbers, forming small groups for safety and to keep warm. This strategy means that Ophaurs at this age have a surprisingly low mortality rate, with only 10 to 20% of Ophaurs not making it past this stage. I wonder why they have so many babies if there's such a low chance of death. Groups of Ophies also like to merge, causing small groups to turn into big ones. In city environments, it can end up getting out of hand quickly. By 4 months, their weight would triple again, now being about the size of a house cat. Ophies that were originally in large groups will split off to swarm smaller ones, but the individuals from their initial groups don't stray too far from each other. By 6 months, their weight only doubles, now being about 20 pounds. Their growth appears to have stabilized by now. While an Ophaur does gain the same amount of weight between 0 to 6 months and 6 to 12 months, the percent increase is much bigger within their first 6. By 1 year, they reach sexual maturity, and this is when things begin to change. For all of this time, a male Ophie and a female Ophie were completely indistinguishable from each other. But shifts in hormones cause 2 different things to happen in the next year. The growth of males begins to slow, only gaining about 20 pounds, while the growth of females begins to pick up pace again, increasing their weight by over double in the same period of time. But one thing is important to note. Ophaurs will continue to grow according to their environment. 60 and 90 pounds are the baseline weight for their respective sexes. Back in older times, there was enough competition to keep Ophaurs in check, so they didn't usually end up growing much larger than this. But nowadays, with the extinction of large predators on the rise, Ophaurs as we know them have been growing much bigger than ever before. We are in a time where it's slowly becoming more common for a female Ophaur to be at least 100 pounds rather than 90. Ophaurs can live for about 15 to 20 years in the wild, but they can live over 30 in captivity. There have even been a notable number of cases where Ophaurs have lived up to 40, and the oldest Ophaur ever died at the astonishing age of 50 and a half. I guess there are perks not growing as quickly as the crown mammals. And with that, you've reached the last Ophaur fact video. Well, calling it the last video seems to have worried people, so let's call it a season finale. There's only a single prehistory video left before this set is finally complete. But before that, I have one last story. Do you remember the story of the mother Ophaur who lost her young and took revenge? You may be wondering, how is she doing now? Well, for a while she was depressed. She didn't have the energy or the drive to hunt anything, so she scavenged and caught whatever small thing she could find. When mating season came along, she was reluctant to call for a mate despite her body screaming at her to do so. She didn't want to go through such a loss again. Eventually, she would find a mate, and she'd become gravid. She dug out a den and laid her second clutch of eggs, but this time, she wouldn't fail them. She stayed close to her den at all times, not even leaving for a second. No sane creature would dare to enter an Ophaur's den. Days passed. Weeks, actually. Almost a month. And one day, she finally felt the one thing she was waiting for all her life. And for the first time in a long time, things finally felt right in her world.